Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
It's truly an honor to be here, be your guest speaker this evening.
Thank you for coming.
I'd like to thank Rob Wallace and Anderson Aviation Association for this opportunity to meet you and tell you a little bit about myself and my new business and what I can do for you going forward. A little bit about my background. I'm a first-generation American. We emigrated with my extended family in 1980 and settled in Los Angeles area with my brothers and my parents. And
From where?
From Republic of Armenia. It's a little Christian country in Caucasus, very close to the mountain Ararat where Noah's Ark is resting.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
What are the coordinates?
After my arrival to America, I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and studied avionics at the Spartan School of Aeronautics and Space Technology. Before that, I studied radio engineering in Latvia. It's not very far from Sweden. That's the late foundation of my understanding of electronics and engineering. And finally, I concluded my education getting my degree in electrical engineering in California. As far as my work experience, after graduating from Spartan College, I worked for an FBO as a technician for 3 years. Thereafter, United Airlines hired me to work for them. I was in Boeing 747 group for 10 years. I was their systems engineer responsible for communications, digital communications, HF, VHF communications, engine indication, fire protection, ACARS, cell call. After United Airlines had employee stock ownership plan transaction, they told us that they do not really need engineering department and that they could contract out that service. So I went and worked for Silicon Valley in high-tech engineering. I was a laser engineer for 7 years, working on for Applied Materials. We did mask making. Masks are a piece of glass that you need to make high-tech chips like Pentium chips. You would need like 24 masks to make an integrated circuit. Anyway, after working for high-tech industry for 7 years, my love for aviation brought me back to Palo Alto, where I started my business and worked on providing avionics service to 4 flight clubs and 1 helicopter flying club. I worked on single engine airplanes, the twin engine airplanes, anywhere from Cessna 150 to Boeing 747 jets, and basically there is not a thing that I haven't worked on if it has anything to do with electronics or electricity. After being a GARMIN dealer for more than 20 years, my wife and I decided that we want to move to South Carolina, and we relocated last year along with our dog, Penny. And we're very happy here. The folks ask, why did you move? And I said, well, what is there not to like? It's less crowded, less expensive, less government, less congestion. So we love it here. Why GARMIN? Why did I become a GARMIN dealer? Well, in fact, I was a dealer for many companies. I was Aviation dealer, GARMIN dealer, S-Tech dealer, to name a few. But after a while, the workload became so much that it didn't make sense to remain dealer for other businesses, because I was a one-man shop and I had to pick and choose. So I chose GARMIN, which is the best. To give you an example how GARMIN came out of nowhere in early 2000s and blew Bendix King away. Their radios, all the displays are based on liquid crystal display technology, as opposed to Bendix King that was using plasma displays, and they require like 200 volts to make the displays show frequencies or the moving map, so to speak. And then and GARMIN was using only 5 volts liquid crystal display, which is extremely reliable, as opposed to what you had with Bendix King technology. So thereafter, GARMIN slowly got into more and more devices, and now the only name in town is GARMIN. What can my business do for you? GARMIN's most popular GPS navcoms, 430 and 530, are approaching their end of life cycle. So if you have one of those radios, GARMIN 430 or 530, whether it's a WAS or non-WAS, GARMIN is running out of parts. So soon you won't be able to get those serviced. So your best choice is to get ready and budget for a transition to a GTN 650 or 750 units, which are the next generation, the GPS navcom, VR localizer, and glide slope radios. That as far as navcoms. As far as the autopilot, if you have Bendix King autopilot, even if it is KFC 200, which used to be one of the most reliable autopilots, they lack a lot of features that GARMIN autopilots these days offer to enhance your safety in flight, like GFC 500 or GFC 600 autopilots. They have a blue button. If you are disoriented in clouds, you don't know which way is up, which way is down, you just can't push that button and it'll make your wings level.
Which one's that one?
GFC 500 or GFC 600 autopilots. Yeah. So that's one of the advantages of modernizing your autopilot. The other advantage is going with GFC 500 or 600, depending on your airframe. 500 is less expensive, of course. 600 is more for like twins or King Airs and so forth. Both GFC 500 and 600 have a system called ESP, Electronic Stability Protection. The system will not let you do crazy things. When you install the autopilot, you program limits of pitch and roll, let's say 30 degrees or 20 degrees. If you go beyond that, the system fights you. You feel a little drag when you are trying to turn one way or the other. And it will let you know that you are doing something you're not supposed to do. That's even if you are not engaged autopilot. If you are flying manually, it's in the background and monitoring your actions. And if you try to, let's say, try to pitch 30 or 40 degrees up, and it will, the system will try to resist you and push you back. And if it lasts more than 10 seconds, it will force the airplane into auto level. Of course, you can override that
Yeah,
feature.
we disable it for
Yeah,
slow flight.
yeah, you can override it, okay, if in emergency, if you have autopilot disconnect or control wheel steering button on your yoke, you can press that and override.
But also on the menus, we can go in the G1000 and we'll disable that while we're doing certain maneuvers and then re-enable it.
Well, yeah, so if you wanna disable ESP system, you press and hold autopilot disconnect button or control wheel steering button.
We go in the utility menu to do that.
No, you don't, just press and hold and then you can turn any way you want.
I know, but we anticipate we're gonna have it off for a bit.
Yeah.
We're practicing.
I know when I've got my private pilot license more recently, and one of the trainer planes we flew,
Mhm.
Same thing. When we were gonna go out in the field, you're gonna go out in practice field and do maneuvers that, autopilot wouldn't let you do. There was something they would disable on the autopilot, and otherwise you couldn't go out and do all the train maneuvers you're required to do, steep turns or stalls and all these things. So we had to always turn that off because otherwise, man, it'd be really safe. But it just wasn't good for the training.
Yep.
Yes,
It's
yes,
good
sir.
to have.
You've been with GARMIN for about 20 years now?
More than.
Well, earlier you had mentioned where they're phasing out one object and you couldn't get parts for it soon. Can't rebuild it or whatever, fix it. What's generally the life cycle for the different series for the past 20 years where they time out where it's obsolete after a while and you can't get parts? Does their product usually last 5 years and then the next new thing comes out? Pretty soon what you got's obsolete and you can't fix it?
You know, GARMIN 430 and 430 WASP versions have been around for 20 years. That's more than they're obligated to provide service for. I think it's 10 years legally speaking. And if you want to manufacture a new product, you are obligated to provide service for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
GARMIN has done more than they were obligated to do.
Yeah.
And of course they'd like to, sell newer units which are more powerful and safer for you, more comfortable, more versatile, but they are running out of parts. They make a lot of parts in-house, but a lot of integrated circuits they have to purchase elsewhere, and those are simply not available. Yes, sir.
Is your shop gonna do IFR certs?
Yes, my shop will do, basically, we'll do anything you want. We can do installation of anything GARMIN makes. And we'll do a pedostatic transponder certification. We'll help you with your airworthiness directive mandate compliance. We'll do if you'd like to fly in Mexico or Canada and you have old ELT, we can install a new 400 megahertz ELT so that you can do it. Anything you want, literally. Anything GARMIN makes, we can install it for you.
All the software upgrades as well?
I'm sorry?
Software updates?
Oh, absolutely. Software upgrades, database updates. One of the last improvements GARMIN made in reducing pilots' workload, so to speak, is we have a new device that will automatically update your databases. You don't have to worry about ever again. I think it's called GDL60, if I'm not mistaken.
And is that a piece of hardware?
Yeah, it's a piece of hardware, and then you have to subscribe like to Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, and then databases will update it automatically.
I have a 430 in my airplane.
Yes,
Well, the new, what's the model of the one that replaces that?
650.
Is that a direct replacement plug-in?
No, it's not. It's not a plug and play.
Oh,
No.
have it done next one we do. So what's the ballpark figure to go from a 430 to that? Ballpark figure.
we need to look at your instrument panel, see what we are interfacing with,
Okay.
whether you have autopilot or you don't have autopilot. But the ballpark, I'd say it should be less than 20 grand for 430 to 650 transition. Yeah,
Are you an IA?
no, I'm not.
So you have to work with an IA? Like
No, I
if you
don't.
install an autopilot, you don't have to have somebody sign off from
No.
an airworthiness standpoint?
No,
Interesting. Is that if there's already an autopilot in the aircraft, or can you install autopilot in an aircraft that doesn't have one?
one more time?
I believe you have to sign off the installation if there's no autopilot in the aircraft and you install a complete autopilot.
Yes,
You're altering the airframe. Don't you have to be an A&P IA to sign that off?
my repair station will sign it off.
Oh, it's a repair station, okay.
Yeah.
Question for you. A couple of years ago, there was a GARMIN denial of service hack. With all these devices that can now interface interactively with GARMIN's databases, what are we looking like for security in terms of database integrity? I mean, all it takes be somebody who's think they're really cute and they move the final approach fix a half mile off position. I mean, corruption in databases is a real concern in other industries. I'm curious about GARMIN. I mean, they can't get the GPS address of my house right. It would be bad, you know? So what are they doing?
Not sure.
It's a big concern for me, at least, security of those databases. That's
So
all
there's
you
no-
got, man.
There's no security features that can avoid hackers or
Well,
guards?
you know, I've never heard that complaint before, and I've been doing this only 25 years, so.
It didn't stop from a denial of service
Yes.
act, but, you know, that just means you can't update, but.
You say you got more than one person in your shop?
Me and my shop.
Huh? Just you?
But if you
Yes.
get a denial of service and
Where
you
is
can't
the
update,
shop?
then you're.
It's right here,
Yes.
50 yards from here, yes.
Okay.
I have contractors, I have several contractors, but I don't have any employees.
So you're in the old maintenance hangar here?
Yeah, adjacent in the office, right next to it.
Okay.
You're welcome to come and see my
Great.
shop anytime.
I'll come visit.
Yeah, I spent some time with Art in the
Okay.
shop, and
Yeah.
he kind of showed me around a little bit. And then we got on, he's got a kind of a different website that you use to see from the dealer side.
Yes, yeah, dealers have completely different site, yes.
Yeah, so it was an experience to be there and to see all that.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna sound a little crazy, nothing new.
It's red.
If I'm flying my ultralight and I'm just using my GARMIN that I have on my motorcycle for traveling on the road,
Yeah.
will that thing work when I'm up in the air? And because I'm not on a road, will it start throwing false signals, or will it
No.
say, you're lost?
No, it'll work.
It'll work.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It won't
I
tell you.
think there's
it's
probably an
below flow.
altitude limit. I mean, you don't wanna go 10,000 feet, but you're not gonna do that.
No, hell no.
Can't ultralight
More
anyway.
like 500, yeah.
How do you bill for your time?
What's your shop rate?
It depends what we're doing. Yeah,
If you're troubleshooting bugs in a current system?
again, if it's a G1000, it's a little higher. I'm charging a little less than in California, but it's about $175 an hour for G1000.
Nobody's got G1000 but you guys.
Yeah?
There's the car, oh, sorry.
We have ESP and we have, yeah.
What does supply look like right now? Is everything?
Supply what?
What you, 750 NXI?
Yeah, they're available, yeah.
You can get them as fast, because for a while.
Yes,
you
I,
couldn't get them.
yeah, during COVID and so forth, there was trouble.
Right.
I remember. Now,
Everything's available.
everything is available. Just about everything.
So if you get ready in say I wanna install 750 or whatever, what's that look like? Is the plane down for a
Okay.
few months, or is
No,
it?
no.
Okay.
I work fast. If you want 750 installed, I can do it within a month,
Okay.
start finish.
Yeah.
I mean, downtime will be 2 weeks, but pay deposit. I start the process of fabricating and designing the harness. And when it's ready, I let you know, so I'm ready to go.
Okay.
You bring the airplane and 750 installation, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. If I have to interface to autopilot. Yes, sir.
A lot of vehicles nowadays, they have where you can plug in a diagnostic computer,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you, and they're doing that on motorcycles
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Does your Garmin devices have, like, you can plug in something and tell you where to look on the machine? It's like maybe there's a circuit that's bad, or a diode, or whatever.
Okay, so newer technology like a GI 275. GI 275, by the way, is a indicator Garmin makes that turn it off. It can replace any instrument you have, any steam gauge you have, literally. It will replace your HSI, attitude indicator, vertical, let's see, yes, vertical speed indicator, engine instrumentation, MFD, GI, aviation, aviation, and then indicators.
Yeah, go to general aviation.
General aviation, go there.
To the right.
Yeah, click on that.
Okay.
Scroll down. So anyway, so GI 275s, they record faults, and you can download all the data faults and so forth. And then we email it to Garmin, and Garmin will diagnose and tell you what the problem is.
So it's like a tool you plug into the Garmin and tell you what to look for. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, yes. You get a like a little like an SD card or a memory stick, you stick it in, download all the fault codes, then we can analyze it and tell you what the problem is.
When something breaks, is it usually because of vibration or heat or a defective original part, or I don't know, what goes wrong with the internal circuitry on these devices?
Well, as everything goes towards miniaturization, everything is made smaller and smaller. Heat destroys things.
Yeah.
Heat, vibration, in moisture, in combination, oxidation, they destroy things eventually.
Yeah,
So-
same on bikes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
What kind of battery is in the 275s?
It's a lithium battery pack.
It's a lithium battery?
Yeah,
pack?
lithium battery pack. It's a kind of size of like cigarette pack.
And what's the replacement date on those? I mean, how often do they have to be replaced?
They don't have to be. You need to run a battery test once a year, and it needs to pass the test. After the test, you have to keep the test going at least 20 minutes. The battery should last up to 4 hours, I think. But to run the test, you must keep it going at least 20 minutes, and if it passes, then the fault will go away. Otherwise, it will tell you you don't have a battery.
Right. That's within 365 days, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Not just once a year, but within a 365 day.
Yeah, I'm assuming, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Second question, G5 batteries?
Yes, G5, G5s don't have that. G5s, I believe a G5, you can select, it'll tell you the percentage of charge remaining on the display directly. and I believe G5 batteries should last 4 hours. 275, I think it's a little less, if I'm not mistaken.
What's a battery cost?
Battery costs, I think, about a couple $100. Mhm.
Why would I want one of those as opposed to a G5?
These are very powerful devices, okay? Extremely powerful devices. They are a little more expensive, but
Everything's on there.
Yeah, really.
yeah, so for example, these instruments you can use to replace any device in your panel. G5 can replace those only in experimental aircraft. For example, you want to replace your airspeed indicator, or you want to replace your attitude indicator, or HSI. In certificated aircraft, you cannot do that. G5s will not be a primary instrument, and a 275 can be. The integrity, I asked that same question to GARMIN. I said, why can 275 be primary and not G5s? And the answer is the integrity testing during certification process was not approved for a G5.
So when my attitude indicator goes toes up, I can't replace it directly with a G5?
Well, yeah, let's see, you must have a backup. You can replace it, but you gotta have a backup.
2 G5s?
So in a certificated aircraft, G5 cannot be replacement.
I don't have, I have a Cessna 182, and that's all I have is a G5 for an attitude indicator and a G5 for an HSI. I have no other gauges, and I have certification for it in my paperwork as a certified instrument.
Well, you still would have to have, okay, so in a certificated aircraft, you can have this device that will replace your airspeed indicator and altimeter and vertical speed indicator, all of it, if you have 2 of these guys.
Right. Yeah, so I have that for an attitude. I have a G5 for an attitude indicator, which has the other stuff on it.
Yeah.
But I still have a airspeed and
That's right.
altimeter and blah blah.
That's
but
right.
I don't have a separate attitude indicator though.
Yeah, you do not need.
Yeah, I don't have a separate attitude indicator. So my attitude indicator had been replaced with a G5, and my HSI has been replaced.
Yeah,
with
I may have
G5.
misspoke.
Yeah.
If you have 2 G5s, you must keep your airspeed indicator, vertical speed indicator, and altimeter. If you have 270 GI 275s, you do not need. You can remove those. That's what I was trying to say.
275s?
2, yes,
Two of them.
yeah. So there's a backup.
Because I have 2 G5s.
Yeah, if you have 2 G5s, that's fine, but you must keep your airspeed indicator, vertical speed indicator, and your altimeter. So that doesn't answer your question. Why do you need it? Okay.
A few years back over to Coney, there were some people came around and stole a bunch of instruments out of aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Do these things have any kind of tracking device on them if somebody installs it in another operator?
No. The only thing they have is a system ID or a serial number. If you send it to GARMIN, GARMIN has database of stolen equipment. Okay, when the GARMIN dealer installs the equipment for you, they give you ownership, serial number, data, and so forth. Then, if somebody steals it, you can report to GARMIN. It'll go into the database, and that might help. Not sure.
So those are from Mexico.
Yeah.
Art, I think it would be helpful to this group to hear about what you did to my transponder.
Oh, yes, yes.
And updating the database.
Yes, yeah, thank you, John, thank you for reminding that. So, as I mentioned, my shop can do software upgrades for your devices, including your transponders. And recently, Garmin realized that there was a deficiency in Garmin GTX 345 transponders, and that they were not able to see TFRs on your GPS, and it was showing only on the first day of TFR, but on the subsequent days, TFR was missing from the screen. So Garmin is paying for the update of the software. I can update your software on anybody's GTX 345 model free of charge until the end of this year. And so the software version should be 2.85. You don't see it on the screen. I have to connect my interrogation device to find out, or I can just bring to my shop and determine that. Yeah, yes, Doug?
Is it just that device that has that issue?
No, actually, it's not that device, but Garmin only pays for that device. There were, if you have, I think, 3-4 other models, like I think you have GNX 375, ADS-B and GPS, and if you had, I think, GPS 175, if I'm not mistaken about model, there are a few other. If you stop by, I'll give you the models that are.
Did that just come out recently?
No,
Software change?
it's been like more than 6 months.
6 months?
More than.
And it's on the GTX 345?
Yeah, yes. I can tell you service bulletin number 24042.
What is it?
Garmin service bulletin 24042.
42. Thank you.
You're welcome. And let's see, one of the improvements that Garmin has made recently with the advent of GTN 650 and 750 is a feature called Smart Glide. If the pilot gets incapacitated in flight, all he's got to do basically hit the button, Smart Glide, and then basically the airplane will pick the nearest airport and guide it all the way to that airport. And the person in cockpit, the only thing he's got to do is control the throttle, basically. And that's called Smart Glide. If you have a King Air, it's full auto land, because you also have auto throttle feature, and the pilot gets incapacitated in King Air, you press of a button and takes you home. So that feature is available in GTN 650 XI and GTN 750 XI.
And G3X.
Yes, yeah.
At our age, we need that.
Speak for yourself, buddy. Great.
Let's see, am I forgetting anything? You know, in conclusion, just want to make sure to tell you that your life is precious. I urge you to take advantage of modern technology to make your flying experience safer and more comfortable. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Art.